All right, opening 7-8 suited under the gun here. There are antes in this game, which mean the opening ranges should be a bit different. Haven't quite got to grips with it yet, but we live and learn. So let me know if you can hear me in the chat as well. All right, flipping a flush draw, but let's check to the aggressor. A half pot is pretty standard on this board. I mean, the fact that there's another player in the hand means that it's probably a bit stronger than usual. Nevertheless, we're going to continue with a flush draw. Right, turning the 5. I don't think it changes too much here unless he has a hand like 8, ace 7 suited, ace 5 suited rather. He checks on the turn. I'm not sure we can bluff here because we've got the hearts. So let's just check it down. Right, blocking top pair. It's a very dynamic board with straight opportunities, but we're not going anywhere just yet. We can bet to get value from queens, gut shots, flush draws, and yeah, I think we'll do that. And multi-way, we're going to opt for a small sizing. defending king 9 off here. So half pot we can go both ways. We've got hearts and we've got king high. We'll stick around for a bit. Yeah, just gonna fold here. Bottom is probably 9-4 suited, 9-5 suited.
That's okay.
All right, definitely defending the ace four up here with the ante. Can do nothing here in 5-6. Just going to get a few more tables up now. Probably 3 or 4 tables now that the stream is starting. Sorry for the radio silence the first half hour, but just getting some things set up. But yeah, should be good to go now properly. Right, now with a raise and a call, I think we can set mine here with a pocket fives, so I'm going to do so, especially with the ante, opening pocket sixes here, checking range on this board, and we've got nothing to do here, no set, no bet. We've got a gut shot here, but it's a very dynamic board, and I think at least one of the opponents will be continuing in some sort of manner. So I'm just going to check and give up here. 7 would be nice, 5 would be decent as well. But even so, if we do hit our 7, they're likely to have a 10. So I'm just going to fold here. Folding the 3-4 off against an open. Again, folding here. King 9 off here for the button, it's probably bottom, so we won't do anything against a 3-bet. Right, we have a top pair, second kicker, second top kicker on a very dynamic board. You can overbet here or bet 75%. I'll bet 75%. We face quite a large open here, but I think we are going to defend with the connected middling cards. Flopping a gutter, checking. Could consider check raise with a heart, but I think we'll just be continuing check call against 50%. And then we can donk on 5s or 3s possibly. We hit the ace, which is no good for us. We do face a check. It's interesting. I'd imagine their range is weighted heavily towards 10s, jacks, and queens. But I don't think we'll bluff this time. Pocket 7s will open to 3 big blinds. Yeah, bet, check, bet. I'd imagine they probably have king X, so we're just going to fold here. Obviously, we've got nothing. dynamic board with a lot of gut shots. We've got middle pair with a weak kicker, so we're going to check. The ace is pretty good for our range, but even so, I think we will check this one. I think about going for a check raise here, but I don't think I'm representing much. Alright, king queen here, pretty good hand, but against under the gun open, we're not going to be doing anything but folding. Interesting position here. We're definitely not c-betting range, but obviously, yeah, we're not c-betting range because he's got more 5-4 than us. Even so, yeah, okay. Might be a mistake not to continue with when he checks, because we can deny equity from any 4s or 5s, or any 3s or any 2s. We have a decent kicker here, but definitely check back ace6 or ace5 or ace4, but we can bet this one here. It's interesting because he's representing quite polar range with a check raise on the flop, but so it might be a mistake to value bet here on the river because he has a lot of folds, but he does call, so we're good. Alright, this is a pretty decent hand. I'm going to 3-bet it. See if we face a cold 4-bet here, but if so, we'll probably just continue as a call because we're in position. Okay, he calls here. You could have pocket 8s, pocket 7s. Quite dynamic board, so I'm going to c-bet for 76%. Facing a check raise, we're not very happy, but he just fold. Take it down. Right, interesting position here. We're definitely 3-betting. How much? About 20, about 15 big blinds, I'd say. So this will do. Right, with the ace-4, yeah, we could 4-bet if we face a 3-bet, but I'd imagine that blind on blind is under 3-bet, so I think we probably mostly continue as a call there. Even so, nice mixing in some bluffs every once in a while. Main bluffs would probably be ace-jack and ace-10 off, whereas maybe slightly deeper stacked, we could 4-bet more with the suited wheel aces. Alright, we defended our big blind and flop ace high. I'd imagine you can continue with a c-bet of at least 50% because of his big overpair advantage. We can open here, probably bottom. Does go for a small c-bet, and I think we should be continuing with this. We could continue with a check raise, but slightly high up in our range, so I'm just going to call. We can also chop if the board pairs again. We could consider donking here, but again, we've just got too much showdown. Folding here. Yeah, I'd imagine we chop against some of the lower ace-x, but I imagine he has a lot of ace-jack, ace-queen, ace-king here, so we probably lose, even so I'm not setting my hands into a bluff. No, he does mark, okay. adjusting here. We see it's pretty standard c-bet size from our opponent. We're in quite late position though, so we're definitely continuing this hand. And we have the worst possible hand we can have here, so obviously not doing anything but folding. Okay, I mean 4 is a lot better for our range, so we could go for a big bet with any gut shot, any flush draw. Obviously 4x is a bluff. Queen Jack I'm not going to do anything with though. We're in position now that it's heads up, so I'm just going to be opening a lot wider. We do face a 3-bet, and we'll be folding. Right, we have quite a check raise, nice check raise candidate with a gut shot on the backdoor flush draw, the straight draw. He might be c-betting this board a bit too much. This board is actually pretty good for us because we have a lot of kings and jacks. But yeah, we'll be raising for value quite polar here. Pocket threes, opening. Okay, we'll check back now because we have a pair, but we can consider bluffing on future streets possibly. Okay, you'll be checking down a lot of ace highs here, but so we do have some showdown. And range is very wide, blind versus blind, so we'll see what we can do here. Okay, we'll check it down. He'll probably have a 6 or a 5 quite often in this check 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 line, but we also win against the ace highs I mentioned, so no need to bluff. Oh, he has king 7. 5-6, not quite good enough. Right, we have a very nice hand here. I think I'll be continuing as a 3-bet. It's nice to have some lower hands in the 3-bet range, so we've got some good board coverage. So I'll be 3-betting. Around 4x, the original open is good, out of position, I think. Okay, can probably overbet this board due to the plethora of straight draws, gut shots, and so on. But with a 9 kicker, I think I'm just going to go for a 76%. Suited hand, but gap's too big, so I'll be folding. Okay, we turn 2 pair, 8-6 obviously gets there, but he'll have a lot of other hands that can continue, which are worse, so we'll still continue with some of bet size. Okay, sorry about the audio. Hopefully it's a bit louder now. Please confirm if you can hear me better. All right, we've got an open-ender here, but it's a very bad open-ender because the jack makes the straight with a king, so we probably won't be continuing here. Folding the 10-eye. Right, this is interesting. I still think I'd prefer to bluff with hands containing a jack, so we're just going to continue passively. Right, I think we'll 3-bet this hand. We get calls from worse hands like King 10 and King Jack, and folding out a lot of ace highs. This is a nice one to put in just a check call mode because my hand is pretty invulnerable. I mean, we're not worried about straights hitting really. So yeah, we can just induce some bluffs from our opponent. We'll see what sort of size he goes on the river. We could consider raising on the river if he goes very small. We do blocks and bluffs containing at 9, but by that same token, we also block straight draws. We play this very passively, so we've got no option but to check call twice here and hopefully win. See betting range on this ace-king board. Oh, we do lose. Right, pocket sevens here, of course, continuing to 3-bet. No reason to 4-bet with the sevens, even though it's a made hand. Obviously, quite happy to stay in the hand with a low stacked pot ratio, a high stacked pot ratio because can hit our set and then get a lot of money from better hands. Right, go half pot here. Okay, we've got ace nine off. Could consider a four bet if we get three bet. I think we're quite an active opponent, but we didn't need to this time. We're beating other ace highs, and this board is pretty good for out of position. So I'm just going to check this one back pure. We will also check some sets, top and middle set, so we can defend against turn probes. Again, I don't see any reason to bet, so we're just going to check again. Yeah, the flush does complete, but I'd imagine that the villain would be bluffing a lot of his flush draws on the turn. So we'll go for a bet here against other ace highs. We'll see what he does, because we don't have that many flushes in this line, so if we fold all our aces, we're at risk of being exploited. We can maybe call some aces with a spade, and we can maybe call some other slow plays, but yeah, interesting to see what we do against a raise there. Okay, taking it down with a king five suited. Alright, I'm just going to go for a little pretty wide three bet here. I think it's fine. Been pretty tight so far. I mean, we haven't been dealt very many good hands, but maybe we could use our image to our advantage and get more folds than we usually would with the ace four suited. Check calling here on the heads up table. Interesting that it goes for 1/3. Okay, we've got the flush board. We can get value from all other pairs, but we should be going small on the monotone. This hand is suited but very low, so I'm just going to fold it. Alright, we don't face a check raise, so I think we can rule out a lot of flushes. I mean, good opponents will be quite balanced, but even so, I'm pretty confident I've got the best hand here. You could have Queen 10, of course, but yeah, if you've got the suited ace, we'll be defending to a three bet by calling. I've got a very good hand. We can consider four bet bluffing some of our offsuit aces, I'd imagine. Continuing here with half pot, I think. We have a backdoor straight draw and flush draw, and we've got the pair draw with the ace. It's not even a facetious comment. In heads up, your ranges are very wide, so these things, all these little draws count. Queen 7 off. I think this is probably too weak to defend, so I'm going to fold it. I think exploitatively in these pools we can four bet bluff quite. We can three bet bluff quite a lot because we won't be facing enough four bets. Even so, I'm just going to try to get adjusted to the heads up game before widening my or making my style more aggressive. Okay, I think we can go either way on this board. I'm just going to check this time. got a lot of give ups on this board, so we'll definitely be continuing to us to a half bet pot size, but this is a very large size, so I think we still call. Um, this reduces his value combos because obviously he's betting a lot of tens quite large. So yeah, no reason to. He's very polar on the turn, so no reason to turn around into a bluff or get value. Let's check this one down. Oh, we counterfeit two pair. Nice. Right, we've been squeezed from the big blind to quite a small size. We're definitely four betting here. We don't want to go multi-way with the ace king. With the extra caller there, I think we will go to around 2.5 times the squeezes three bet. We will open this hand because it's suited. Well, probably not opening 2-6 suited, but it's pretty connected. And we flop quite well with the open ender. He doesn't have that many 2x in his range, and we've got big overpair advantage, high card advantage, so we can just bet half pot here. Okay, we're continuing with quarter pot bet. I did unintentionally tank here, so maybe he thinks I'm weaker, but we still get fold, which is nice. I think we could 3-bet ace. We do want to keep in some of the lower aces. I think I'm just going to continue as a call here. Ace high is ahead of most of his range, so definitely continuing to call there, but he does check. I think we can check call the turn, and if he checks the turn, we can value bet the river. He does bet. Okay, ace 8's off. This is pretty marginal, but with the ante, I'm going to open it. Right, opening all ace-x from the small blind. We face a pretty quick call. We have a weak ace-x here. Definitely not c-betting range, but I think we can go for a 33% pot bet. This could be a hand that we could check back the turn to value bet river, because we're probably not getting 3 streets from a worse hand, and bet check bet is not really believed very often. Ace-6, I think it's marginal, but I'm going to fold. It's the worst ace-x. Now I've got 2 pair. It's a card that's better for the opponent's range, but obviously we improve. He's continuing with all pair plus gut shot, and this is interesting. We've got the full house here. Not sure what our bluffs would be. Our bluffs would probably be maybe 8-9 or so. Struggling to consider what our bet size would be. We can maybe go small, induce a raise, and then go over the top with a jam. This is a mistake, of course, though, because he's only got $5.98 in front of him. Should probably pay a bit more attention to the stack size, but we do get the call, which is nice. Exploitatively, it's probably good against 5-6, 7-6, etc. All right, this is 7 max, so this would probably be a bit wide. We've got opportunities for a straight, and we've got the ante, so I think we can open here. And our opponents haven't been overly aggressive so far, so I think we can open this. Right, we face a big open here, but I think we'll still be continuing with a lot of pocket pairs. We will need to defend a bit tighter though. Right, this is a good flop for us. Okay, so this board, this card is obviously good for the opponent, villain, but we have more nutted hands, so I think I'm just going to go for the overbet here. We can overbet a lot of gut shots, a lot of flush draws, and leverage our nut advantage really. So I think overbet is good. Right, facing the 3-bet with the ace jack off, I think we will 4-bet this time. We are out of position, so we'll go to about 20 big blinds. Facing a 3-bet with ace-5 off, can't do anything. That's our worst hand in that position. And we do take it down with the ace jack off. I think villains will be proceeding with a lot of caution against 4-bets in these stakes because people aren't 4-betting enough. So I think our 4-bets do quite well. I think there's a tendency of players to think, you know, no one else is 4-betting, so I shouldn't either. Maybe that's sort of a reflexive thought, but if anything, it's the opposite. Right, we have a monotone board here with an ace and a very good kicker. We've got no diamond. We can't be c-betting range, so I'm just going to check this one back pure. Jack 9 suited will fold this time. I think it's marginal though. We are opening Jack 10 suited from every position, so maybe this is a bit tight, especially with the ante, but it's a marginal open at best in any case. Right, some action here. We've got second pair. Okay, 5-3 gets there, but he has a lot of other bluffs. Thing is, villains don't like, or just in general, people don't really bluff their missed flush draws. But even so, I think we've got we're near the top of our range when it comes to hands that we check the flop with and then call turn and potentially call river with. So I'm just going to call this time, and we're good. Yeah, maybe a bit of a nit roll there, but we do win. Yeah, I thought I'd start off with cash games as this is my first stream, but if you tune in the future, I'll be playing more tournaments. That's more in my wheelhouse. So still try, especially since I'm on a new platform, Coinpoker, I'm trying to get adjusted to the interface and the cash game strategy. So growing pains, but hopefully I'll get adjusted soon. Right, bottom of our range here is ace nine off. We've got ace 10. If we face a 3-bet, we can 4-bet bluff some ace X and king X suited, doing nothing against a 3-bet with ace 10 off, especially against the big blind. This is big blind versus under the gun plus 1, under the gun plus 2 is pretty under 3-bet, so would definitely be folding in that case. This board we can bet by quite big. We've got second pair and top kicker. So I think this is good enough to throw into a big bet range. He does call. Interesting. Yeah, I think, well, we definitely can't value bet here, and he's probably got quite a few other 10x. So he's going to go into check mode here. No sense in betting or checking. I think he's quite often got a queen here for one of the straight draws. He could have missed clubs. But again, I think we've got enough showdown value not to bluff, so we're just going to check. And he does show queen 10 there. Interesting that he tanked on the turn as well. Maybe he's considering a donk. There are no donks on that turn card, especially since I've got a lot of ace jack in my range, all the sets, etc., etc. So yeah. Okay, we face a limp under the gun from the recreational. I don't think I can raise there really. We can consider donking here, but I don't see much sense in it really. He didn't bet, so I'm discounting a lot of his flush draws. So I think we can start bluffing this hand. We do also have a gut shot. Hopefully by the river we will have folded out a lot of the underpairs. It's hard to put him on a range since he limped under the gun, but I would be over betting a lot of my flushes, and we have a lot of trash in big blind, so I will just bluff it this time. He does call. Let's see. Okay, 7 deuce. Interesting that he doesn't bet the flop. So yeah, a bit of a wild card opponent. Hard to put him on a range, but I don't mind my bluff too much. We do have some stacks brewing here, which is nice. I think we've had a good run of cards recently. Hopefully we can get 200 big blinds on one of the tables in the next hour or so. I'll probably stop streaming at around 12 GMT, so in 1 hour. But yeah, my first impressions of this site are quite good. The interface is quite smooth. I don't know if there's an option to have a heads-up display, but generally I feel that yeah, very smooth interface. Weakish opponents, especially compared to stars, um, and I think the introduction of an ante is pretty good for the games, um, because it's I think you have to put a lot of work into figuring out what sort of ranges you should be playing, and yeah, it mixes things up a bit. I think a lot of people know their regular hold'em quite well at this point. Okay, we face a squeeze from the big blind. We're definitely four betting here. We're in position, but we have had a caller, so I'm going to be raising to just over 2x and calling versus jam, of course. Again, I think my bluffs there would be some of the wheel ace. So maybe in those positions, maybe more like ace seven, ace eight, ace nine suited. Some of the ace 10, ace jack offs. Ace queen we can continue as a call. Yeah, this guy seems like a reg. I think he's c betting enough, squeezing enough for sure. Um, right, this is quite a good board for our range. He doesn't have any of the sets, or shouldn't have anyway. Um, and he has a lot of quick folds, I'd imagine. Whether we continue bluffing on the turn is, yeah, I've yet to decide that, but we'll see what sort of action we get. Okay, stack to pot ratio of just under 1. I think we're ahead of ace queen, ace 10 suited, so I think we'll check this one this time. Okay. We could also check some jacks on the turn. But yeah, this he probably does have a stronger range than us, so we do need to be calling sometimes. Okay, tank checks. I think this is very pocket pair heavy. He might also just have ace king. Be interesting to see what he has here. He does have ace queen, so we got pretty lucky there. I think he has a lot of. I think he has ace jack suited pure there, and he has some of the pairs between pocket eights, well, pocket eights, pocket nines, but maybe they're just calling pre-flop. We do take it down. All right, we've opened under the gun +2 with king queen suited. I think if we face a 3-bet here, we're quite deep stacked with small blind. We can probably just continue as a call. Looking to 4-bet hands like king 10 and king jack suited at a pretty high frequency. And we do face a call from the small blind, which is interesting. It's quite a narrow range because I think a lot of people just continue with 3-bets or folds in those positions. So I'd imagine he has pocket nines, but not pocket jacks. We can fold out a lot of the ace highs with this big bet. So that's how I'll be continuing here, barreling on a queen or a king or a flush, of course. But we'll see how quick he calls. If he does, he doesn't. But it's a nice hand to continue bluffing with because we can put pressure on a lot of pocket pairs and ace nine. But again, it's pretty hard to range opponents that call from the small blind. Opening the jack 8 suited to 3x. Okay. This is our opponent who limped 7 deuce off earlier. I think he'll be quite passive and quite. He'll be a bit of a calling station, so I don't mind betting here now with the intention to fold him off certain runouts. We don't block any of the suited 6x, but I think we can. I think bet check bet here might be better. Right. Call here. Okay, and do we value bet this 8? I think we can possibly against 7x. I think we would have heard from better hands by now, so I'm just going to bet half pot. I think it is a bit thin, but I don't mind it either. Okay, we face a big bet on a board which is very good for us. I think I'm just going to fold here, honestly. I don't think people are bluffing enough. And we've got a lot of better hands to continue. We do win against the short small blind here, which is nice. Excuse me. Squished Fish asks what the tournament equivalent of the Big 11 is on Coinpoker. I don't really know the schedule that well yet, and the fields tend to be a lot smaller, so I can't really answer. But there are quite a few low buy-in tournaments on Coinpoker. I mean, the Carnival might be a good one. Not quite a 1,000-man field as is the case often for the Big 11, but yeah, I'd imagine they're pretty similar. It's nice that the fields are smaller though. It means you get less variance. Don't go weeks without reaching a final table. So I think for future streams I will do some multi-tabling. I'll multi-table some tournaments, see if we get any big stacks. But yeah, just keeping it simple for the first stream with cash games. Right, we face a 3x open from the button. This is pretty marginal. I'm going to continue with a call. All right, I will roll for 75% or check. We roll high this time, so we will bet big. Obviously, leveraging our overpair advantage, he faces a difficult decision with a lot of his gut shots and weak pairs. Okay, this is also a very good card for our range. We'll be betting big with a lot of king, queen, jack, so I think I'm just going to open bet this time. This is a very Board is pretty disconnected. There's a flush draw, but we've got a lot more ace-x, so I think I'm just going to c-bet this hand at 100% frequency. Okay, this is not good card for our range because we don't overbet the 9x, so I think we have a lot of give-ups here, and that's what I'm going to do here. Right, we'll face a small bet. Obviously, all the gut shots sort of complete in some sense in that they either hit a straight or a pair. I don't think he has many bluffs here, if any. So even to the third pot size bet, I'm going to fold the pocket tens. Doesn't really make sense to bet 4x to this size unless he's you know, a very advanced player. So just folding there. Ace-3 not quite good enough to open from the cutoff. We can open it sometimes from the button, I'd imagine, especially with the ante. Right, so if it folds around to us in the small blind, I'll be opening a bit smaller because our opponent only has around 35 big blinds. Right, opening any suited ace from any position, I think is fine. Still haven't quite sorted out my bet keys yet, so excuse me if there's a bit of inconsistency when it comes to what size I'm opening to and from where. In any case, we've got ace-2 suited here, which is one of our weakest ace-x suited hands under the gun, so we're just going to fold. Right, we face a donk 100%, so folding here, of course. So from under the gun here, I think I'm opening sevens pure, and then mixing the lower pairs to some extent. I think deuces are pretty much a pure fold. There are some reasons why you might want to open a bit wider than usual, but yeah, sometimes you get you know, incorrect sizings like this where we can just continue to 3-bet and set mine. Alright, suited hand quite close together, that's cool. Okay, check to the aggressor. We can improve by the river here. So if we face a small sizing, I'm considering check raising or folding. We face half pot. I think our hand is just about too weak. We can raise a lot of gut shots there. We can raise a lot of flush draws and straight draws. So I think the fold is fine there. All right. Open up the button. We're definitely 3-betting this to 11 big blinds. Well, 10, but get a time bank from the opponent. Maybe he's just got a decision on another table. Three betting sevens plus there. I think it is fine to have a calling range on the button, especially with the ante, but it's not something I've really incorporated into my game yet, so I don't really feel comfortable calling there very wide yet. Looks like the player on our right doubled with a flush against a straight. Pretty standard caller there. Hard to get away from a 45 big blind effective stack. Okay, quick jam. Maybe he's on winner's tilt. We'll see. But slider has been pretty active so far, so I wouldn't be surprised if he folds quite wide here. Very small three bet from the big blind here. He does check it back. Yeah, hard to range opponents here, but yeah, it's definitely not GTO. It could be good exploitatively, who knows? Depends what sort of villains you're playing against. But yeah, maybe worth taking a note in case he does, change his bet sizing depending on the strength of his hand pre-flop. In theory, we should definitely be continuing here with king queen off to a three bet from either the small blind or the big blind. We're not faced with that decision though, and we get connected two-tone board. I think we can go over bet or 75%, probably not pure, but yeah, we rolled high enough, so we're just going to put in the big bet here. All right, could consider four betting this, but I think I prefer to four bet with ace jack suited plus. We can also throw in a couple of wheel ace x suited, but with the action from the cutoff and the button, we have to have cold four betting range have to be quite tight. You can't overdo it with bluffs because you have to get through two opponents. So we do fold that time. Okay, we definitely can't continue betting this board pure because it hits his range quite well. He has a lot of the middling pairs with ace king, which is going to pure check, especially without the club. And yeah, here we can continue with pocket tens, maybe some hands with the club that we didn't bet on the flop with a straight draw of some sort. But yeah, we can't do anything against this pot size bet. I quite like this hand as a four bet, so we'll see what sort of action we get. A good heuristic to follow when you're considering which hands to four bet bluff is if you feel uncomfortable considering calling, but you feel that your hand is too strong to fold, then sort of a good indication that you should be four betting it. We face quite a small three bet from the small blind, so we're just going to be four betting to 20 big blinds or so, opening the 6-7 suited. Right, flopping two pair. I think we can continue with half pot. It's not half pot. Nor is that, but you know, roughly speaking, it is. Interesting. I mean, we unblocked top pair and second pair, and we got a pretty vulnerable hand, so we'll be overbetting this hand. He does have ace jack that beats us. He does have ace seven and 6-7. Okay, we're tanking on these tables. Let's speed up a bit. Yeah, we do face a 3-bet here from the big blind. Just going to be continuing as a call. Too good to fold. Too strong to 4-bet. Too weak to 4-bet for value. Okay, I think if he goes anything half pot or less, we will be continuing. But I wouldn't be surprised if he continues. Okay, he does go for half pot. This is big blind versus Boston, so our ranges are quite wide. So despite the fact that we don't have a backdoor flush draw, we do have two over cards. We're beating some other ace-x suited and Broadway cards. Okay, he bets half pot again. I mean, exploitatively, it might be okay to fold that flop because people aren't finding enough 3-bets from the big blind as is. But yeah, this is one of the weakest hands we continue with on the flop, so we should be folding. Hey Martin, welcome to the stream. Hope you're enjoying it. Right, this hand is just a bit too weak to continue. I'd continue with 5-7 suited though. 3 betting the ace queen. I think around 11 is good. Alright, we face a call. We block ace jack and queen jack suited. I think we'll be going at least half pot on this board. We face a call, and this card is a blank, so I think we can continue betting. Set up for a pot size bet on the river. Right, quite a quick call from our opponent. Flush draw gets there, and we have no flush draw blockers. So we're just going to be check giving this up, probably bluffing ace queen with a club. I think that turn bet would have been quite good at getting folds from under pairs. So even though we don't get it through on the turn this time, I don't think it's bad. But yeah, can't do anything against this. Just fold. Yeah, I need to configure my hotkeys ASAP because yeah, not very precise at the moment. Continuing with the ace 5 against an open. I think we can fold it, but with the ante and with the wheel straight draw possibility, I think we can call this one. Okay, we have an interesting flop. Facing a big check raise, we fold. Right, we have a limp from a new player on the button. So they'll be raising it up to about 3.5 big blinds. Okay, we have a top pair weak kicker on a two-tone disconnected board, which can be continuing third of pot. Okay, we face a min raise. I don't think there's much sense in four betting this one. It's suited, and we just get we sort of isolate ourselves against better hands. Continuing here. Okay, we're beating all the broadways on that board, so we can just check this one, realize our equity. We can continue here with some ace-x that I decided to check back, pairs with a heart, so I don't mind folding this. And now we can value bet our ace. I'll probably get called by kings or queens, I see. Maybe pocket tens. Right, we face the donk on the river. Just going to call. Okay, we get rivered. That's fine. Go either way with this hand. I think we can check call this time. Okay, I quite like this hand. We will have some slow plays on the flop, so I quite like check, not jamming, but check and then raising to a big size. Let's see. Okay, he's just got the ace. That's fine. But yeah, I could probably fold him off a queen or a flush if I go big enough. I think it's pretty underbluffed. But yeah, we don't get the opportunity this time. We're on quite an active table, but I think we can still open this queen jack off under the gun. Right, we face a call from a weaker player. This will probably induce quite a lot of squeezes, so I think it's quite important to have a lot of 4-bet bluffs here. But it looks like that won't be happening. Okay. I think check raise, check call, or just betting outright is fine. We're just going to go for the bet this time. I think this opponent is quite sticky. We face a quick call, which I think is quite weak, and the ace will scare him off quite a lot. So I'm just going to continue to 76%. Yep, our read is right. King jack off here on the button. I think facing a raise to an appropriate size, we can either 4-bet or fold. I'm going to roll for this one. Above 50, I'll 4-bet. Below 50, I'll fold. Rolled a 36 this time. Sorry, 63 this time. I think we can 4-bet to around 23 big blinds. We face the jam, easy fold. Right, 6-handed now, we're going to be opening queen jack off under the gun. Facing a raise, we fold. We take it down to the big blind last hand. On this table, opening queen 10 here, but not queen 9 off. Okay, this might look quite nitty to some of you, but jacks versus under the gun definitely won't be 3-betting this pure. But facing a call, I think there's a lot of dead money in, so I'm just going to squeeze this one pure. I think 14 big blinds is a good size. Facing a 4-bet, we will probably call, unless it's to a ridiculous size. Very interesting board here. We are monotone, and we want to thread in some strong hands into our checking range. I definitely don't want to be betting this flop pure, so I'm just going to check jack stop set. Dynamic board. King 10 off against big blind, we'll bet big. Okay, and now facing a check, we will go half pot. We will also have some bluffs here. And he folds. I think we can still bet big. It's just a question of whether we go over bet or 76%. I will go 76%. Maybe I'll go bigger with some sets and some better kings. But yeah, we need to deny a lot of equity here against any number of draws that our opponent might have. 10-7 gets there for the straight. He also has some two pairs, such as King 6, Ace 8-6, though he might fold that on the turn. And I think our King 10 is a bit too weak to value bet here. I would consider value betting King Queen plus, but I think here we just check. We lose against King Jack and King Queen, which don't raise. He has King 2, so maybe we could have got a bit more value there, but I'm unsure. I think it's on the cusp. Queen 4 suited, I think we are folding. Maybe that's a bit too weak. I'm definitely opening 9-5 suited, so maybe Queen 4 suited isn't open there. I'm not sure. Right, we tank open here unintentionally. So we might think that we're weaker than we actually are, continuing, of course, with the Queen Jack suited. We flop very well. 2 overs, a gut shot, and a flush draw. I think we can raise this and get it in on the turn. All right, we're going to be cold 4 betting with the pocket queens. We don't need to go that big here, but I think around 20 big blinds is good. All right. Okay, we just need to get it in on the turn. So I'm just going to raise to 26. Quarter pot with range on this king high board. We have all the ace kings. Our villain does not. So this is a very good board for our range. And we call the all in here. Let's see if we're good. Probably has an overpair. He has pocket aces. Did we get there? We don't. That's a shame. All right. We could turn our hand into a bluff here, but I think we will just be giving up. We can check some of our. We can check second or top set as well. We do block ace queen of spades, but this is probably the weakest hand I'm for betting except pocket jacks, and we're not exploitable here because we are continuing with some very good hands in this manner, so I don't mind just folding here. And yeah, in the queen jack suited hands, we can also raise our sets. for value, so we don't only have bluffs there. Facing quite a small open from the button, we'll 3-bet 5x. Opening any ace from the small blind with the ante, and against what I assume is a population that doesn't 3-bet from the big blind enough. We're getting a lot of suited broadways of hearts here, which is nice. Okay, facing a 3-bet, too good to fold, too good to 4-bet, so we just continuing with a call pure. Okay, 10 high board, 3-bet by 10 purist, it's giving me a bit of deja vu. Slightly weaker hand this time. Facing 66% with 2 overs and a gut shot, I think we are folding. It might be too tight because we did block King 9, King 10, Queen 9 and Queen 10 suited. So I think I might have preferred a call there, even facing the big size. It is small blind versus button, so the ranges are going to be quite wide. Here we can 4-bet, 3-bet at percentage, but just calling this time. We will just check the fours. Okay, gut shot and the ace of spades. This would be a pretty good check raise. I think we can go either way with this one. We do have some showdown, but we also want to bully off some other ace highs. This time I'll go for a half pot bet. And we'll just show down our pocket fours on this table. Pocket fives, that's a shame. And we have rivered the second nuts on this table. I think he's betting 10-9 of spades pure on the flop, so we have the effective nuts. No need to overbet really. I think we can just go 3/4. And he probably has the king of spades, let's see. He mucks. Alright, going either way with ace queen off, we will 3-bet this time to 12.5 bigs. He folds. Right, pocket queens facing a short stack open. We can 3-bet this one to 8. Okay, we call, and we have a king high board. I think we can see this one pure, and stack to pot ratio is around 2, so we can go with a small sizing. I mean, even smaller than usual. Let's go 25% here. Ace 7 off, a bit worse than ace 5 off, so fold. Okay, we face the 9% donk on the turn. Continuing with a... you could have any of the pairs though. I think we will just call this time. And I think to an all-in we will... Okay, so I think we have a lot of ace-jack and ace-queen here because we can't fold with gut shot. So we'll have quite a lot of bluffs here, especially since we're c-betting the flop quite often. So we're quite close to the top of our range here, so I'm just going to go all in for value. And he will probably call with ace 10, maybe pocket 8s, pocket 9s. Folds. Alright, opening 3x against Mr. Krabs. He calls. We have the ace of clubs. We can either check call or just bet ourselves. This time I will bet. I'll bet half pot. Right, we will be bluffing this one off. I will go around 40% here. Then all in on the river, around pot size, just under. He might be continuing with a lot of 7 and 4x, which he will probably fold on the river. We'll see. It's quite easy to overbluff these configurations because we've got quite a wide range in the small blind compared to we would in the hijack, for example. We face a big open from the button. With the ante though, I think we're sticking around, probably folding 4-8 suited. Right, we flop a double gutter. So we'll be continuing in some form. I think we will call this time. He hits the king, which is very good for his range. Okay, he bets big. See, if we hit our straight, but it's a spade, then he might have a flush. So I think 2-3 courses we fold. We can continue 4-3, 6-5, some king X, some spades with a flush draw. Let's checking this one down. We have jack high. Okay, I think we'll be 3-betting this one. It's quite annoying if Mr. Krabs goes all in, which he does. But now we've got the pot odds. So we need to call 10 big blinds to win around 30, just under. So we have the odds to call, even if he has ace king. So it's a shame, but we're calling off here. Okay. And he flops us dead. Yeah, I think if we know that he's going in that wide, then maybe we can 3-bet a bit narrower. But yeah, we just get unlucky there. Ace king against ace king on this board. This table, rather. Right, Mr. Krabs with a limp, flopping bottom pair. We won't be going anywhere. Okay, we have a lot of showdown value, but we can't really bet for value, so just checking this again. Not going to give away any timing tells, so just tanking a bit. He bets 2 big blinds. I think I prefer calling with a hand that can improve somewhat. I think, well, he's been very active, but even so, I think I like folding here. Ace king off, or 3 bets 10 big blinds. He folds. All right, I think we will just be isolating this to 4. Whether we call off a jam is interesting, because he did jam with Jack 9 suited last time, so I think we will be calling, especially since he's probably raising Ace Queen and Ace King, probably flipping a lot of the time at worst. Right, Ace 9, Ace 9 and Ace 8 suited are pretty good calls because we keep in dominated aces. It's suited as well, so we can hit. Okay, this is an interesting spot here. We have pocket queens. I think we can call here. Okay, King 7 off. He gets there, which is a shame. And we lose. We get it in good though, so can't really complain too much. But we have been pretty generous to our friend here, Mr. Krabs, so far. Let's see if we can get one back on him. Right, this is the worst hand we're opening from the cutoff, so folding, of course, especially to a big 3-bet. Cuspy open with Jack-9 suited, but I think it's okay. We get 3-bet to a small size here. Usually you'd expect to see around 7 bigs. So we're in a tough spot immediately. Well, no, we're not. All right, we flop a flush draw. We can bet this some of the time because we have more ace-x. But I'll check this time. I think yeah, you can go either way as well with against a bet. You can raise or just call. If we were suited here, I would squeeze to around 15 bigs, but we'll just call with the offsuit. Here we'll check again, check call. Flopping 2 overcards and a gut shot straight draw. Okay. The big blind quite credibly represents 5x here. We have a relevant blocker in the ace of spades, but how often will this be bluffed? I don't know. I think I'm just going to randomize. We roll a fold this time. Facing a 2 big blind bet, we will call. Pocket tens, we will open. Okay, facing the squeeze, we can't do anything here but fold. Right, we face a big 3-bet here, but we have a very good hand, so we will just call here. Okay, we have an overpair, but it's a monotone board, and we do not have a club. So I think I'll be folding. Well, I will be continuing, but not to half pot bet, especially since he went a bit bigger pre-flop. We have poor visibility on future streets because we can't really improve. So I'll just be making a tight fold. Pocket tens, I think we can go either way, 3-bet or call. I'll call this time. Open ender. We can raise this hand, or we can call this hand. We would be raising with 10-9 pure, and I have both the offsuit and suited varieties. Now the question is, are we going to turn our hand into a bluff? I don't think so. We have a pair. And he will have some underpairs, some ace highs, etc. We can bluff some hands like 10-8 or 10-7. Okay, I think he's quite heavily weighted towards ace-jack here, but again, I don't think I'm going to bluff this hand. And if I did, I'd be going a big size to represent the straight. He does just muck. I think this is a mistake. Maybe with pocket eights or pocket nines, you can forego the c-bet, but the flop quite heavily favoured his range, so he should be bluffing a lot on the flop. Right, opening here. Right, we see a jam here. Right, top pair, top kicker, ace of diamonds. Got a very good hand. Against the small size, we'll be raising pure to deny equity from overcards. think 6.87 is about right. Obviously, I'm not going to go that exact size all the time, but I think it's a roughly 50 to 75% raise, so I think it's fine. Here we can, I think I'll just make a tight fold here. This range will have a lot of pocket pairs like pocket 8s, pocket 7s, pocket 9s, so our hand is not doing very well against it. Okay, folding the king 5 suited. Okay, flopping middle, flopping bottom set. And I think we'll just go for 3 streets of value here. I think he would have raised with any flush. So I think we can just go to around well, stacked pot ratio is about 2.5, so I think go to around 9.5 bigs. Get fold. Right, we get a 3-bet and cold called by the recreational. Obviously nothing else to do here but fold. Unsuited 1 gapper here against the 2.5x open in quite early position. We just fold, we can call Jack 10 off. It's quite an aggressive table, but I think I'll still open this hand. Alright, flopping middle pair. I think we'll check call this one. Alright. Without the heart, I think I'll just go straight into betting. Jack 10 suited, we'll put in the 3-bet. Right, 3-betting the king, queen off here, not doing anything else to further aggressive action, which we do face. Okay, I think this is a mistake. I should be calling here against the limp. This is a marginal 3-bet. I'm not sure how much I like it. Okay, 10 high board, 2-tone. Our sizing here is 76% on check. We can fold out ace highs, and we can we have the diamond here, which is a good blocker. Continuing here though, I'm not sure. I think we will check on this roll. On a diamond, we can bet representing the flush. We can bet any jack or king for value if those come, because I'd imagine that a 10 would bet itself on the river. We do see a heart. We do not have any heart blockers, so I'm just going to be giving in this one up pure. Right, we can go for half pot here, I think. Facing a big check raise, we can fold. Raise from the hijack, call on the button. Let's call with 5-7 suited. Flopping nothing. First bluffs here would probably be 5-4 of clubs or diamonds. I think we'll just be giving this one up. Jack high. Jack high is good. I think the hijack should be bluffing here for sure. He's got the most ace and king X. So I think if he gets to the river with 10 high, he's low enough down in his range that he really should be turning his hand into a bluff there, if not on the turn already. Just taking a quick break. I'll be back in 1 minute. We have a suited hand, but it's not quite good enough to defend, so we fold. I think king 6 off is bottom here with the ante, so we'll fold this time. Right, our hand is pretty secure in that straight draws are good for us. We sort of get called by better and fold out worse, so I'm just going to check this out. It might be a c-bet range board because it has so many high cards. But I think if we are checking a hand, this would be the one to do it with. Right, again, don't see any point in betting here, so we'll just check it down. So I might be checking two streets with an underpair. So if we faced a bet on that river, I would have called this hand and folded those ones. We can't get value from other 10x now because we chop because of the board pairing king, so let's check it down. And he has ace-5, yeah. See, I think on that board, my checking range is pretty showdown heavy. So I don't think you get a lot of bluffs on the river on that board. So facing a big bet, you could probably exploitatively fold with Jack 10. Even so, that just, I probably would have called anyway. King 6 suited, we can 3-bet some percentage against earlier position opens. I would have just called against the cutoff, but facing a 3-bet, we fold. Ace 8, I think is quite cuspy. I'm going to roll for it. Rolling a 34, we fold. I think in future streams, I'll play a few more tables, just as a first stream, just sticking to 4 for now. But I think 6 would probably be ideal. Got pocket jacks in the cutoff. Okay, we have a disconnected king high rainbow board, c-betting range for small. I think the pocket 3s, I think in theory it might be a mixed fold 20%, but I'm just opening pure here. Well, actually on the anti-table, I think you just open it anyway. Jacks with a diamond, we're pretty invulnerable to flush draws, well, less vulnerable. We can get values from 2s and 7s, but I think he has a lot of king X as well, so let's check this one. Underpair on 4, 6, 10, I think we'll check. Threes without a club, we will fold. Okay, so we improved a lot of Queen X that doesn't barrel like Ace Queen. I think this is quite big for 7 and 2x. So I think we have a break-even call at best. I think I'll roll for it because this is one of the better hands in my range. Actually, we have a very wide range on the flop, so I think we do need to. I think we need to defend this hand. Actually, I don't think it's that close. No, he does have king queen. It's very nitty to fold there, but what's he calling on King 7 deuce rainbow that bluffs for that size? He could turn his ace highs into a bluff, but I think a lot of lower stakes players think that they've got showdown value. So it might even be a losing call there with jacks, as nitty as it sounds. All right, 20 more minutes. Let's see if we can double up or something. We've not been running particularly well. Maybe it's just bad play, but um, yeah, final 20 minutes. Let's go out with a bang. All right, with the 6-5 suited, I think we can call 50% of the time, fold 50% of the time. Just need some coverage on lower boards, but we fold this time. Is this too loose? Not sure. This is definitely not too loose. I think this is a bit of a weaker player. I'm not sure about the big blind and small blind, but I think we can get away with threading in a call here sometimes. We have a new player, I think, who has posted a big blind. I think we just check here. Some arguments for bets, so we can get folded out King Jack, which have just improved. But yeah, we're still beating Ace King, Ace 10. So I think we'll check again. Right, suited I would squeeze, but we should call with the offsuit variety. Okay, we get a call, and I think we'll go 33% here. Right, turning the pocket fours into a bluff here. I think we can get folds from all the underpairs under the jack. So we'll bet this time. And we do get the fold. Okay, we have two overcards facing a 40% pot size bet, but since we're multi-way, we can rely on the other person in the pot to do some defending, so we'll just fold this time. Opening all pair sixes and above pure from this position. Take it down. Okay, with a 6-7 suited, we can go both ways. We can call, we can 3-bet. Again, it's about having some coverage on lower boards that we might otherwise miss. 3-betting this time to 12. This might be a bit big, but I don't think it really matters that much. Okay, we have ace king pure, opponent doesn't. We'll just be betting this hand. I think we can see bet range for 33. Okay, let's set up the stacks. I don't think this is quite 3E, but 2E, but it's there or thereabouts. He's in a tough spot with Jackson below for sure. And King X can continue. We miss this time. It's just a question whether we fire this one. I think we do. He should be in a tough spot with King Queen there, because obviously I'm repping Ace King and above. Am I over bluffing there? I'm not sure. I think I'll be bluffing some suited Broadway under the king. But I felt that with the flush draw, I think it's a good continue. Flush draw on the gut shot, and when I arrive at the river, I've got the worst possible hand I could have. And although generally it's a good heuristic to not continue with flush draws that miss, I don't think he's got many ace-7 or ace-6 suited that call pre or even call the flop. So I think our bluff is good. I would be surprised if it never follows through. Here we will fold this time. Not sure if I missed a bet on this board at any point. It's quite middling. Yeah, I think I would have preferred a bluff with like King 7. I don't think we can. I don't think it's a big mistake if we by by not betting that on any street. But I was more paying attention on the other table, so maybe I was missing a bet there at some point. All right, I think you can 3-bet this sometimes. I'm going to just call. Flopping a really bad gut shot here. I think we will fold to anything above a third. With a heart, I'd continue. The ace-x, the ace-high board is so good for him that I think I'll just fold here. Right, I think this is bottom, but I think I will 3-bet this. Okay. I think we can do both. I think I will just call this pure. We're in a pretty tricky spot, but I think without the with the backdoor, I think we'd be overfolding by folding this. I'm not sure though. And I think, what value do we have on this turn? It makes for a pretty good check shove from what I can see. But he does just shove himself. Okay. I don't think we can call here. We've got a lot of ace-x that can call. We've got ace-x of hearts. We've got some two pairs with ace-9. But you could easily have jack-10 of hearts, queen-jack of hearts, king-10 of spades. I think we still fold though. Alright, I'm just going to click on sit out next big blind as this stream comes to a close. Alright, 3 betting the tens.